I'm at the start of an incredible adventure. I'm going 10,000 miles from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, and I'm doing it the hard way, above the Arctic Circle by a legendary route, the Northwest Passage, the mythical sea route across the top of Canada linking two oceans. Whoa! How unbelievable is this? It's like being on another planet. I'm going to places I've never seen before, meet people I've never met before, and do things I've never done before. It's an absolute sensation. I'm going on the most extraordinary journey of my life, one that some of the world's greatest sailors and adventurers have tried to make and failed, and one that's going to take me to the very edge of the world. Why don't you come with me, we'll have a laugh. Piece of cake. I'm on the threshold of an extraordinary adventure right across the top of Canada between the two oceans. For centuries, people have dreamed of the Northwest Passage as a trade route, but it was always iced up. Now, with the change in climate, the melting ice should clear for just enough time for me to go and have a wee look. My journey starts on the Atlantic coast of Canada in Nova Scotia, and then it's north through Newfoundland down to Baffin Island above the Arctic Circle, and then through the Northwest Passage itself before heading south through the Yukon to British Columbia and my final destination, Vancouver Island on the Pacific coast. You and me, we're going to do it together, and it's going to be fun. In 10 weeks, I'm going to travel by road, by boat and by airplane, right round the top of the world. It's going to be an epic journey. By God, it's parky out today. It will be cold and wet, snowy and blowy and everything else you can imagine. I am bloody freezing. I'll be meeting all sorts of amazing people along the way. Oh, wow! The joy of the unexpected brings a light to my eye. Oh! Job done. Helicopter! The world's a fantastic place, and I'm heading for some of the most remarkable and remote landscapes anywhere. I'm getting very excited just thinking about it. Well, I'm off the coast of Nova Scotia, and I've no idea where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going or where I've been. This journey could be longer than 10 weeks. Just like countless explorers and pioneers before me who braved the North Atlantic to reach America, there's no better way to start an adventure than to arrive by boat. For the first leg of my journey, I'm going to explore Canada's Atlantic coast, and I'm starting here at Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today it's a busy seaport, but this was once the gateway for hordes of Europeans who'd come here to make a new life in what was for them the edge of the world. This is a very famous place, Pier 21, where millions of immigrants landed, almost 2 million people from Europe coming here to settle in Canada for one reason or another. It's sort of Canada's Ellis Island. These days it's where cruise ships dock and tourists are welcomed ashore. And it's a much happier place than it used to be. Look at this. I didn't realise it was moving when I came out the door. I love ships. I worked in a shipyard, you know. And I love the whole line. I find great beauty in that. I used to be a welder. God's music. Isn't that the best? This is kind of welcoming and happy, jolly music, but there's also really sad music associated with this. And actually more in Ireland than in Scotland. There was music They called it an American wake. When you were leaving to come here, they would have your wake while you were still alive, playing music, because they knew they were never going to see you again. So coming here was like dying. So a lot of that music is kind of sad. But I love this.
Oh, yeah. I extend the most warm and sincere welcome. We wish you good luck, and may God be with you all.
You did that rather well.
Thank you very much.
That's wonderful, isn't it? With its town crier and museum, Pier 21 is now a sideshow of a previous era for the tourists who flit through here off cruise ships. When I see these things, I don't think of tourism, although it's a huge and great industry here. I think of all those immigrants and how odd they must have felt stepping off here in this strange country, although they were given a lovely welcome. It must have been hellishly daunting to leave behind everything and everyone from their homeland, knowing they would probably never return. I know many of them had Irish and Scottish blood, just like me. I'm going to see how many Billy Connollys came here. It's just a silly idea. I was just wondering, can you tell me how many William Connolly's came here?
Sure. There's 30 of them coming.
30 Billy Connollys? You don't deserve that. What do you think you did to deserve 30 of them arriving? Look! 23rd of November. My birthday's the 24th of November. This is too weird for me. I don't even know the guy and I'm going all kind of tinkly and quivery. If there were 30 Billy Connolly's that passed through here, there must be millions of Canadians who can trace their roots back through this gateway to Europe. I'm going to meet some of the descendants of those early settlers. What's left, I wonder, of the old world their forefathers brought with them? But I've one stop to make before I leave Halifax, and it makes me smile. After Pier 21, the first place the tourists are taken is here, the Titanic graveyard. Doesn't it make you smile?
It does.
When you're on a cruise and they come and show you the most
First thing
famous
they want to
sinking
show
yacht.
is the sinking, yes.
Yeah.
And it's usually right after breakfast.
There's something wonderful of it just after breakfast.
It is. And it's
Just
just
when
like,
you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
exactly.
I have a great fondness for graveyards and the stories they tell. The Titanic one is particularly fascinating. Blair Bead shows me round the graves of 120 victims of that awful disaster. Now these re-identical stones, what's the story there? How come some of them are different sizes?
White Star Line only gave one size stone. If
Oh,
you
right.
wanted a bigger stone, your family paid for a bigger stone. So it was
Oh,
an extra
really?
expense. So for instance, here's Mr. Elliot. The family paid extra for this. He was a crew member. And they were mad that the newspaper of the day said crew members survived, women and children died. So as you read the verse at the bottom that they've put on, you can almost hear the glorious trumpets sounding about how he stood at his post
Oh, right.
and showed once more to all the world how Englishmen should die. And trumpets go.
Da-da-da-da-da. The Titanic has a magical quality. It just goes on and on forever. There's nothing dead about it. It's so alive.
And it keeps coming back.
I was at a shipyard museum in Belfast and they gave me the T-shirt and it says Titanic built in Belfast and on the back it says she was okay when she left here. And now
It's a
I'm
great
in the...
T-shirt. I don't know what we could put for Halifax. We've got the dead. I mean, that just wouldn't sell. Or maybe it would.
There's one particular grave here that attracts so much attention the grass has been totally worn away by hordes of adoring girls. Now you probably saw the movie where Leonardo DiCaprio played Jack Dawson, the great lover who drowned towards the end of the movie. Well, they think that he's in there. The grave just says J. Dawson, but it's a guy called Joseph Dawson. But nobody seems to be bothered too much about that. So in death he became sexy and Hollywood. Good on him, I say. I'm leaving Halifax behind me for the next leg of my epic journey to the edge of the world. I'm heading for the coast for a spot of cod fishing. As I hit the road, the scale of this trip is just beginning to dawn on me. I'm taking 10 weeks to cross Canada, and it's a big journey, and it gives you an extraordinary feeling of how enormous this country is. Nova Scotia is just the first square on the Monopoly board, and I've got the whole nation to cross, but I'm excited by the adventure of it all. I've come to Lunenburg. For over 200 years, this was North America's fishing capital, and cod was king. Fishing was a way of life for generations of people who came over from Europe. But years of overfishing have meant the cod has pretty much gone, and Lunenburg now survives on tourism.
Welcome to Lunenburg.
Haven't been here 24 hours and I've got the Nova Scotia hat. Tourist till I die.
We're like the
What,
cops.
you get donuts?
We're like the cops, yeah, we eat donuts. Just in case we get hungry.
I'm going out fishing with Bobby and Ralph. They've worked these waters all their lives. I'm hoping to catch some cod for my lunch, but it's now in such short supply there's no guarantee I'll get any.
There is no codfish here anymore. I think we're a lot to blame for it ourselves, you know. We destroyed a lot of fish back in the years.
Commercial cod fishing is now banned, but it's okay if we try to catch the odd one by hook and line. I've never seen a hook circular like that.
And the way the fishing is right now, if you get one on, you don't want to lose it because
Because it's a long time before another one comes by.
Exactly right. I'll see if I can get some bait for us. I'll give you the best.
I'm going to try and catch a fishy. Here we are. And you can't talk a fish into existence.
No, you can't. No, they say, what is it, a fool on one end and a fish on the other? And you got a fishing line, so it's good fun when they're biting, but it's not much fun when they're not.
Not so long ago, fish would have been leaping into the boat just to have a wee nosy, but not anymore. I don't really mind though. It's just a delight to be at sea in this cocoon of fog, fishing with these two lovely guys.
Did you spit on your bait?
No, I said a wee prayer.
Did you? It wasn't a big enough one, I don't believe. What a tail, look at
You
that.
caught it by the
Not quite a
tail.
codfish, but it is a fish.
The thieving bastard. I'm glad we're not doing this for a living, aren't you? Fishing is a hard life and dangerous. Bobby wasn't going to tell me till I squeezed it out of him, but he nearly lost his life in '93 when his boat was completely iced up and started to capsize.
They figure it was 35 below the wind chill. They estimate it was about 70 tons of ice on the frozen
70 tons
side.
of ice clinging to your boat.
Yeah, froze to the side of the boat.
And that's what threw it off balance.
Yeah, she just made that last heave under and started to load herself full of water. And there was no recovering it then, just kept sinking.
How did that feel?
It wasn't the best of feeling.
Bobby was rescued, but it ended in tragedy for some of his friends.
There was 5 fellas we lost that time. And them fellas, I don't know what really happened to them. We picked up 3 of the bodies and 2 of them didn't even get off the boat.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a terrifying story, and I so admire how Bobby has dealt with it and has kept his love of the sea.
Oh, it was good to be out here.
I can't imagine being on a fishing boat at 35 below, 150 miles offshore, or with ice all clinging to your boat and wondering if you're going to get home. I can't imagine anything harder than that.
We're not very good fishermen.
No, we're pretty crap, aren't we?
We wouldn't make much money.
We tell a good tale, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh! At long last, our fortunes change, but it's not cod. I've got some mackerel. Whoa! Whee!
Holy mackerel, them are the big.
It's mackerel-a-rama. It's funny, we get nothing for ages, and now we can't put the hooks back in quick enough. We did catch one cod, by the way, but he was such a wee tiddler we threw him back.
That's one of our codfish, but he will grow, hopefully.
It's so sad that as the cod fishing has gone, guys like Bobby and Ralph have become a dying breed of men. A way of life that brought so many people here just wiped out. The old fishing livelihood may be gone, but next I'm heading north to where some surprising old country customs are very much alive and kicking. So where do you think you might be? Oban, Inverness, Aberdeenshire, Mallaig. We're in New Brunswick. Since 1753, people have been coming here from Scotland, since the Highland clearances, really. And they tend to cling to the culture, or what they see as the culture. Personally, I have mixed feelings about it.
You got a big head?
That's not bad.
Oh, that's
my
bad.
God.
Can I have a picture with you and that hat on?
No, how dare you, leave me alone. I think it's a new world thing, a need for something old. And they seem to assume that old means good. When I was a wee boy, not only didn't we wear kilts, we frowned on people who did. We used to shout, "Kilty, kilty, cold bum." And to this day, I am wary of people who wear kilts. But then, there are bits of Scottish culture I just love, and it's hard for me not to get carried away by it all. This is a real thing. It's poetry. It's wordless poetry. The band of Scots that landed here has clung on to its Highland traditions and kept them remarkably intact. This sport shows you how boring life was in Highland villages, where people would say, "Let's throw trees this afternoon." I know what we'll do. We'll throw a tree up in the air. His underwear's a bit on the long side. Y-fronts don't cut it. Calvin Klein means nothing here. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yes. Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. I think culture should be constantly on the move, forever changing. But people here seem to relish being more Scottish than the Scots themselves. Hello, Sean. How do you do?
Mr. Connolly, good to
Nice
meet
to see you, yeah.
as well.
I've seen people here who have never been in Scotland who are wearing all this stuff and very Scottishy about it. How do you feel about that?
When we get here, we get amongst these people and we wear the kilt and we hear bagpipes, all the worries of life go away. It just makes us feel good.
I can understand that.
Most of these people here aren't really working to be Scottish. They're just
Yeah.
out enjoying
Just enjoying being
Scottish.
I've got nothing against that whatsoever. I don't know if this is the direction I would have gone in if I was an immigrant. In one way I find it refreshing, another way I find it kind of very mysterious. I find myself being swung towards their way of thinking. But then again, I was always easily led. I think you can tell.
Direct from Scotland, we have a visitor, Mr. Billy Conway.
And when the massed bands strike up, something stirs in me. And no matter how much I try not to like this, I love it. I go all wobbly inside, I can't help it. When the drums and pipes go, it's just, I'm putty in the hands. You can't refuse an occasion to make Scottish cool. And it really is pretty nifty. As I hit the road with the music still ringing in my ears, I think I can see why all this Scottishness is so strong over here. And I think it's the size of the place and the amount of wilderness that makes them so keen on their culture. Anything that you can grab that makes you feel at home must bring you great solace. I've driven through Nova Scotia to Cape Breton Island, where I'm heading towards a town called Shettycamp, where I'm going to meet a different group of settlers that have made the colourful mark. Before this was ever Nova Scotia, it was called New France, and hereabouts the people still speak French. They call themselves Acadians, descendants of 17th century French colonists. There's a distinctly odd feel to this place, and I like it. What I'm looking forward to, there's a scarecrow maker. I've never met a scarecrow maker before. I never thought there were such things. I thought farmers just hammered them together from brushes and old clothes. This should be a bit interesting. Oh God, it's quite scary. Look at that line at the back, that is so weird. Oh, I like this. There's a funky, weird edge to this that I'm beginning to like. Stone the Crows. Is that a can't explain it to you. I think it's because they're absolute life size with real clothes on. There's a definitely Village of the Damned feel about it. I think it's this thing. I think it's this pose. It's like some kind of satanic rite. Oh God, Margaret Thatcher's here, of all people. It gets more bizarre by the yard. I love these things. The other visitors are just like me. People, you know, the average expression of, what is this? You know, isn't it odd? I mean, I don't know if you can feel it up the lens. It's like getting to a graveyard and finding all the people standing. I'm telling you. I was wondering what kind of oddball was behind all this when Chester shows up, and he's a true delight.
How are you?
How do you do, Billy Connolly? Are you Chester Delaney?
Nice to meet you.
What a delight. How nice to meet you. I was just talking about your stuff.
They call me the artist.
Are you? How dare they?
Yeah.
So this is your stuff. That's
This
extraordinary.
is all my scarecrows. I have 90.
90?
90 scarecrows, yes. And I dress them all new every year. I've been doing that since the last 13 years.
Is there something wrong with you?
No. They tell me I'm all right. No, I dress them all new
Nobody's
every
ever
year.
told me
It's
that.
It's a big job. It is very unusual. I tried to put, say, a little note on each one of them. Like even that guy that I called Wayne, like he died 2 years ago, but he was a miner. He worked hard all his life. So that's why I put Wayne Collins
Yes.
on the scarecrow.
Yeah, so now that's a memorial to him.
Yes, that's what it is.
I'm a working man, I am, and I'll go down underground. I'm Wayne. Shift work took me out the door till Sydney Steele was no more. Oh, I found Pamela. She's changed. The witch. I'm not sure about that at all. Don't know if my wife will approve there.
Now, I have a little surprise for you. Would you
yeah?
come here with me?
Aye. Oh, my God. Oh, I've joined the merry throng. When I was a child, my ambition was to be a tramp. And I've almost reached it.
Oh, quelle tristesse que j'ai dans ma maison, c'est d'avoir une aimée toujours en bossant. Tous les soirs de la semaine, il arrive sourd. Il ne s'y donne pas la peine d'y gagner sous. Tous les soirs de la semaine.
What a smashing man playing absolutely smashing music. And there's no mistake he plays well, you know, his art is good, his life is good, he's a true nice man. What a jolly day. You crazy people. You're French, that's what's wrong with you. I like this bit of the world, it's happy. There's a continental happiness that really appeals to me. Even the landscape lifts your spirit. Just north of Cheticamp is the scenic Cabot Trail, named after the early explorer John Cabot. It winds around the rocky splendour of Cape Breton's western shore, and it's taken me up to the northernmost tip of Nova Scotia, and there's only one way to do it justice. The Cabot Trail is one of the top 5 motorcycle rides in the world. I can understand why. It's spectacular. What a stunning place. My God, it's beautiful. It's a lovely feeling rolling along in the open air, especially when you get to the top of these hills and you go over the top and it dips, you see it dipping and winding like that. There's an extraordinary rush. It's a feeling of freedom. It's a lovely feeling. You're free as a bird. The only thing to look out for around here is moose. I mean, look at it, the big daft article. It's no idea it's one of Canada's biggest killers on the roads. Nice, eh? Don't say I never take you anywhere. Look at that, Pleasant Bay. Strange little name, but it kind of sums it up, really. This is at the very end of Nova Scotia, Cape Breton, New Brunswick, all that Acadian stuff we showed you. This is us up towards the end of it. We're now going to Newfoundland, that way. Now, I've never been to Newfoundland before, but I've met many Newfies on my travels, and I can't wait to meet some more. I am on a journey to the edge of the world. I'm leaving Nova Scotia and I'm flying north to the island of Newfoundland and St. John's. It was here on this rocky shoreline that some of the earliest European explorers from the 15th century set foot in the New World. This is Cape Spear, not Cape Fear, mind you, Cape Spear. And the main reason I'm here is that this is the most easterly point of North America. The nicest thing about it is you can see what this is how the explorers first saw it coming this way. John Cabot, 1497. You must remember that Christopher Columbus was 1492. He said the fish were so bountiful you don't even need a net, he says. You just throw a basket over the side with a weight in it and you can pull fish in. And that brought thousands of people, thousands, to get the cod. For over 500 years, fishing has been the lifeblood here. Generations of mainly English and Irish immigrants give St. John's a lively feel that I instantly liked. I've headed down to the harbour for a look-see. I've always liked docks since I was a wee boy in Glasgow. They have a peculiar smell. The smell of ropes, tar, wood, sawdust. And so in Scotland you would get a smell of whiskey and wood together, and it's a thing that appealed to me as a boy, and it always smelled of foreign places and leaving and going on a voyage and being a man and growing up and all that kind of thing. The harbour here is a shadow of what it used to be before the cod got fished into oblivion.
They're usually bigger than that, eh?
These days it's mainly crabs and shelly creatures, and I wonder if their days are numbered too. Look at this poor bugger. This is what it's all about. Wheeking him out of the ocean. Minding his own business. Winking at the girls that were passing by. Whoosh! St. John's. But nowhere does hospitality like Newfoundland. An old seafaring tradition of welcoming outsiders to become honorary Newfies has become a tourist ritual called screeching in. Thank you very much. I'm the one who wants to be a Newfie.
Oh, well, I had a hat when I came in and I hung it on the rack. And I'll have a hat when I go out or break somebody's back. I'm a decent man, I am, and I don't want to shout. But I had a hat when I came in and I'll have a hat when I go out. Hey, here you listening to Violent Screechers. I don't understand now you're a CFA. Wants to get screeching and become a proper Newfoundlander, right?
Yes.
Is he a screecher?
Did I know cock and I was the big jib draw?
No, you came out of the gate good, my son. You just got to get down the fairway a little bit better, right? So you say, Deed I is me old cock.
Did I is me old cock.
Long may your big jib draw.
Long may your big jib draw.
There you go, my son. Good
Did
for
I is me
you.
old cock. Long may your big jib draw.
Got a little buddy for you to meet.
Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to kiss a cod, but there aren't any, so this trout will have to do.
Oh, something sweet. Okay, now, I never got you to sign any waiver forms or anything like that, so for heaven's sakes, my trout, don't get any of that on your skin, okay?
The infamous local tipple is Jamaican rum called Screech. If you have any sense about you, you'll avoid Screech.
Up the lips, over the gums, look out, Connolly, there she comes, lunch her back.
I made do with pop.
By all the powers vested in me, I dub thee a screecher. Rise up and find thy newfound heritage. Welcome to Newfoundland, my son.
Thank you very
Pleasure to
much.
have you over this way.
Love me a big jib draw.
There you go. You got her, my son. You're quick. There you go.
Oh, I'm a screecher. I'm very proud now to be a Newfie, even if my name's spelt wrong in this certificate. It rains more here. It snows more here. They get more fog. And they give most to charity of all the major places. And now wait till I tell you this wee factoid. They have more sex than anybody else. Now how could they possibly know that? But there's one fact there's no doubt about. Newfies are some of the most generous people on earth, and one event sums this up. What happened in a little town called Gander when the world came to town in the wake of the 9/11 disaster. Welcome to Gander, in the middle of Newfoundland. On that infamous day, everything in the air was ordered to hit the deck. 39 jets landed here, all at the same time. 6,500 people were dumped on this place. The population is only 10,000. People were here for 6 days, but they opened their arms, put the people up in their houses, fed them, looked after them, and it's a legend in the world of hospitality. I've come to have a wee taste of that legendary hospitality as the town celebrates its 50th birthday with a party.
Welcome to Gander, Newfoundland, sir. Mayor Elliott. I'm the mayor here. How are you doing?
And they told me I might bump into you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure for me to be in a town that's younger than me.
Well, me too.
For a community of 10,000 to have 6,500, 7,000 people drop in.
Well, we just had extra people for dinner, that's all.
I love that.
Yeah, it was no big deal.
I love the attitude. It's extraordinary. Oh, there's real Mounties. I see a Mountie. This was the uniform to kill them all. Hospitality seems to be deeply ingrained in the DNA of Newfies. I'm off now to meet a local fisherman and hunter, Dave Brake. He's put on a spread of lunch at his home and wouldn't take no for an answer.
I got trout in there that is fit for a king. In fact, the king is not getting them. You can have them, the king ain't getting them. We've got a lovely caribou soup, caribou that I shot myself. And of course, my wife got some homemade big buns and strawberry tarts and lemon cake. We're going to have a good little scoff here now, boys.
Now, what did I tell you? That's exactly what I was doing. This is astonishing.
I like this. This is a good lunch. Okay, here we go.
That was lovely. And now a real treat for me. Dave's taken me fishing in the River Gander, which is famous for its salmon. Let's see if I can catch something here.
Great conditions for fishing if there's any here.
Absolutely.
Perfect, as far as I'm concerned.
Wilderness is brilliant. There's something really primal about it. Just the view and the wind and the trees. It's a lovely thing.
You gotta be positive.
Absolutely.
You gotta believe every cast he's coming.
Every single one. Here it comes, down to the red
Yeah,
rock.
there you go.
The salmon just aren't biting, but it doesn't really matter. I'm an angler, not a fishmonger. This is all about relaxation. People say to me, you must get some ideas when you're fishing. Never had an idea in my life when I'm fishing. Fishing's for the opposite reason. I get a lot of nothing when I'm fishing and it's delightful. Shuts out the whole world. Gander is quite a legendary river. Just not today. It's just a lovely day, but fishless.
He's not going to let me forget it, guys. He's not going to let me forget the fishless.
Don't be silly. But you caught me.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's the only bloody thing you've caught all day. Early retirement. Stop this nonsense.
I haven't laughed as hard in a long time, I must say.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, boy, it is fun.
I may never fish again. I'm broken-hearted. Nice little bit of equipment, eh? It's going to take us right to the north of Newfoundland. I may be gone for quite some time. The next part of my journey takes me even further north to St. Anthony. Flying is nice. Landing is twice as nice. And it's distinctly cold. We're an hour north in Newfoundland of where we were. We're right up at the very north end of Newfoundland in a place called St Anthony's. When I was a wee boy, I learned that St Anthony was the patron saint of things that you'd lost. I feel like a lost soul in a cold place. They're fond of saying here that if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes and it'll change. Well, I think the clock has stopped on fog and drizzle. But we're going to show you how pretty it is here up in the north. And it really is sensationally beautiful. Look at me, I can hardly see. It's hellish. But in a kind of nice way. You feel it's doing your skin the world of good. And I've had several good hair days so far in this drizzle. The very first Europeans that made a flying visit here 1,000 years ago were the Vikings. Today, out-of-work fishermen make a living dressed up as Vikings. They have made a heritage encounter where none existed before. I'm looking for the tribe's chieftain. Nobody here. I guess they must have buggered off to Greenland. I can hear them in here. There's raucous laughter. Hello?
I am Chieftain Bjorn the Beautiful.
Bjorn the Beautiful?
Bjorn the Beautiful.
That's all right.
That's a good name, isn't it, eh?
It's amazingly cosy and nice in here, isn't it?
Now, a lot of people compare it to the black houses in Scotland.
They probably copied us, the Vikings. Probably copied the Scots.
No.
Oh, yes.
I think that the Scots were lucky to actually have the Norsemen.
And they talk a good game, the Vikings.
What do you mean, talk a good game?
I would love to live in a house that was covered in flowers like that. Being an old hippie from way back. They found this among the ruins. That's why we're posing for pictures.
Well preserved as it was.
Absolutely, it's preserved exactly like that. It's
remarkable.
Wrapped in rushes and moss. Dressing up as Vikings might seem an odd job, but at least Bjorn and his tribe can carry on living here, while other out-of-work fishermen have had to leave Newfoundland to find work.
Tourism for here has been the lifeblood.
Yeah.
Because after the fishery died, that was it.
Yes.
So tourism has kept a degree of people here. Not like it was, but a degree. Newfoundlanders have a bit of a habit where if you can't make it here, you go somewhere else.
Yes.
And
well, that's how they got here in the first place, isn't it? People like to be Vikings. People like the picturesque side of that kind of stuff. And now the whole economy, it seems to me half the signs here are to Norseland and Viking ships on the signs and all that. And the guys were here for about 5 years. It really is a blip on the screen. I think it's brilliant. Roll on. Keep up the bed and breakfast and the Viking image. It's better than anything I can think of.
All right, thank you. Take care.
See you later, Bjorn. Stay beautiful. I'm off to get up close and personal with an iceberg. Pilot. You lucky people. Iceberg Alley, here we come. Now, I've sat up front with pilots before, but it's a first for me to be allowed to have a go at actually flying the plane. It's something I've always wanted to do, and oh, my heart sings a wee song. I've spotted a handsome-looking iceberg trapped in a bay, so it's time to get back on the water.
Okay. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Freeman. Thank you. This guy is a local man. His name's Freeman, and he's taken us round to the bay where the iceberg is. It's like a big piece of jewellery floating along. I think they're wonderful things. You'll like it, or I'll know the reason why. It's a sensational colour. Even I, just spotting it peeping round the corner there, got a wee thrill. Isn't it a sensation? It's come from the glacier in Greenland. That's the same place that produced the icebergs that sunk the Titanic. The native Inuit who live in Arctic Canada believe that icebergs contain the spirits of their ancestors who come back to see them every spring. I love that. I just saw a face. That's the nose on the left there. The upper lip, see it? Coming up, there's hair at the back. See, that's the way they get you. I'd love to tow it up the Clyde, or up the Thames, or the Tyne, or the Mersey, and let all those kids see it. For some peculiar reason, it looks edible as well. It looks like a big cake. It's a meringue, that's what it is. If you want it, we'll tow it back for you. This is just a taster of the frozen north that's ahead of me. I'm almost at the end of this part of my journey. From here, I'll be travelling beyond the Arctic Circle, but before that, there's something I'd love to catch sight of. I'm going to the Kirpon Lighthouse, which is only about half an hour away, but it's the most northerly bit of Newfoundland, and it's famous for whale spotting. As soon as you say it's famous for whale spotting, you get the feeling that all the whales go, right, and dive. Some people are good at spotting them spouting. I would have been a lousy whaler. I don't see it till half the tail's flapping over my boat. Oh, for a life for the rolling sea. Whoa! Suddenly the full Newfoundland breakfast isn't such a good idea. More scrambled eggs for me, please. Nurse, the screens. Nurse. Oh, nurse. No more black pudding for me. Apparently there's a whale up ahead. Oh, I saw it blowing there. I'm going to shout, there she blows, the next time it happens. It's always nice, isn't it? To see a whale. It's always such a privilege.
Tail's coming, there it is.
Oh, I saw it there. That was just amazing. Now this is what I call getting away from it all. I'm going to spend my last night in the most remote lighthouse in Newfoundland. I ordered a white stretch limo with colour TV. Didn't show up. I've been booked into some weird places in my time. This takes a biscuit. Hello, hello. Thank you very, very much indeed. I never entered a hotel quite like that in my life.
Okay.
Do people usually look as amazed as I do?
I don't know.
We're at the very northern tip of Newfoundland. From here, we're going north and west. And it just seems like the most extraordinary journey. We've hardly started yet. When you think of everything we've done together, we've seen fantastic scenery in this immense country. There was Pier 21, fishing at sea with Bobby and Ralph, the stirring masked bands at the Highland Games, the delightful Chester and his bizarre scarecrows, having a laugh with Dave on the River Gander.
Welcome to Newfoundland, muscle.
Ordinary folk, generous, warm people just getting on with their lives, but clinging on nostalgically to a world that seems to be slipping away from them. What will I find as I head for a land where the going gets really tough? How are the people up there coping as the world changes around them? From here, we're going that way. Into the wilderness, up to Baffin Island. If you're stuck for where Baffin Island is, get yourself a map. It's slightly left and a wee bit below Greenland. The people look different, sound different, behave different. That is extraordinary. You won't believe it. It's an absolute sensation. Why don't you come with me? We'll have a laugh. Excuse me, you any idea where I can post a postcard here? See you later.